I'm already in my pajamas, so you're not going to see me in this. I just have a really quick December book haul. I didn't expect to have any books to haul this month, but my in-laws gave me this giant box full of books. So I'm not going to show you all of them, but everything that's in the box right now is stuff that I'm not going to keep, and it will be taken to the bookstore. Layla has a duck. And then these are all the things I am keeping, so I'm just going to show you those real quick. I've sorted them out. This pile is stuff that I'm going to keep, but it's going to go straight as reference. It's not anything I need to go through or anything. So there's an Oxford School Shakespeare copy of Julius Caesar. I've read Julius Caesar before, so I don't need to reread it right now. Oxford School Shakespeare copy of Romeo and Juliet. I've read Romeo and Juliet before. Cambridge School copy of Romeo and Juliet. A Spark Notes for Henry V. I don't usually tend to get Spark Notes, but I'm an English major who focuses on Shakespeare, British literature, and specifically Shakespeare's time period. So it's good to have this stuff as reference. Layla! Go to bed! You're knocking my books everywhere. This is the Costumer's Handbook, how to make all kinds of costumes. My in-laws are theater nerds too, so.
They're not nerds, they're masters. Masters of fine arts.
This is not something that I would read, but it's a great reference for a seamstress, and especially with theater, I focus on costumes. I mean, that's my thing. So that's going to go in the reference. And then this is Classical Monologues 1, Shakespeare. Something else for the reference shelf. Then I had nice stats, but Layla knocked them everywhere. Truth by David Auburn. I actually had my scene for this from my Acting 1 class, my first semester at SIUE, my old school. So I've read this before. I'm just keeping it as something to live on my regular non-reference bookshelf. And then this pile is all stuff I want to keep and read. So this is Shakespeare for Dummies. I was just going to throw this straight on my reference shelf, and I started flipping through it, and it looks pretty good. So I'm going to read this, and it'll go on the reference shelf. This, The Mad Woman in the Attic by Sandra M. Gilbert and Susan Gubar. This looks really good. I mean, okay, I'm a total nerd, but this looks really interesting to me. It's freaking huge, but it looks really interesting to me. It's going to be a great, I want to read it first, and then it's going to be a great thing to have on my reference shelf. In fact, I could have really used this for my last paper for my British Lit class that I just finished. That's that. This is Hamlet's Mother and Other Women, which might have been good for that paper as well, but it's also something that would be really good for my reference shelf. This is by Carolyn Heilburn. When Shakespeare's Ladies Meet, with Apologies to the Bard by Charles George, is apparently a play that I've not heard of, but it's Shakespeare. It sounds really good, so I'll read that and then I'll be keeping it because Shakespeare. Who Needs Theater? Dramatic Opinions by Robert Brustein. This looks really interesting, something I would like to read, and then I will be keeping on my reference shelf. To Euripides. This one is Medea and Other Plays. I don't know what else in this. And then Euripides 1, it's got Alcestis, the Medea, the Heraclide, and Hippolytus. Those are things that I want to read anyway, but then they will be great for my reference shelf because I'm an English major. Bloom's Major Dramatist, Shakespeare's Comedies, Comprehensive Research and Study Guide, edited by Harold Bloom. Again, something I want to read that would go great on my research shelf. The Reduced Shakespeare Company presents the complete works of William Shakespeare abridged. Okay, I have seen this performed. It's a play. I've seen this performed, although it was abridged even more because it was performed at a Christian college. But totally want to read this, totally keeping this after because it's so much fun and it's Shakespeare. Now these two I think are technically textbooks, but I'm the weirdo who, when she has time, reads textbooks. So this is Theater 2nd edition by Robert Cohen. I need to tape it. And The World of Theater, Robert Corrigan, 2nd edition. So I'll be reading those at some point and then adding them to my reference shelf as well. And the rest of this pile, there's this, which looks really interesting. And the rest of this pile that included is stuff that I want to read through, but I probably will not keep after I read it. And there's a lot of plays. So there's the Octet Bridge Club by P.J. Barry, Bleacher Bums by the Organic Theater Company, The Diviners by Jim Leonard Jr., Crimes of the Heart by Beth Henley, Miss Lonely Hearts by Howard Teichman, A Murder of Crows by Ed Graciek, Athol Fugard, Master Harold and the Boys, Einstein and the Polar Bear by Tom Griffin, Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean by Ed Graciek. I should know how to pronounce that, but Love Letters by A.R. Gurney, Androcles and the Lion by James Englehart, In the Blood by Susan Laurie Parks, Mere Mortals by David Ives, Cinderella Wore Combat Boots, an adaptation by Jerry Chase, Beauty and the Beast by Warren Graves, Beauty and the Lonely Beast by Eleanor Harder, Still Life by Emily Mann, A Flea in Her Ear by Carol Johnston, Faith County by Mark Landon Smith, Pinocchio Commedia, which sounds really interesting. It's Pinocchio, and a Commedia dell'arte adaptation by Johnny Simons. And then the Mahabharata, which was translated by Chakravarti Narasimhan. So, like I said, most of those are plays, but that's all stuff I want to read, and I probably won't keep it after I get done, but I'm not totally sure. Like I said, I am not going through everything in this box, because there's so much in there, and this is all stuff that I'm taking straight to the bookstore. My brain says I need to read through all of it, but I'm telling my brain to shut up because I don't have time for all of that, and some of this stuff isn't even, it's not something that's horribly interesting to me. Even though it is, it's...
Yeah, and you get a cat in the box.
Like, there's a book on stage management which is interesting to me, but it's not something, it's not my area of theater, so it's not something I need to keep as a reference, and I'm taking that class this fall at this school, so I'll have a newer book to read through, and like I said, it's not as much of my interest for me to read a second older textbook on it, if that makes sense. I know my logic isn't always logical, but this is a quick haul of books from my in-laws, and if I get anything else this month book-wise, I will do another haul, but I just wanted to show you guys these so I can put them away. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!